What I've brought to the table for the last 2 years, I stuck to everything that I said I was going to do. I won everything. I feel like I represent PFL very well, media-wise. I'm constantly,
So, right after the biggest win of her career, Dakota Ditcheva just got hit with something no one saw coming, a flagged drug test. And this isn't just a little red flag, it's the kind of result that could erase that win from her record permanently. Now, if you caught her last fight, you already know how dominant that performance was. Dakota didn't just win, she demolished her opponent. Her strikes were clean, her pressure relentless, and she was in control throughout the fight. So, you already know she celebrated the win like this was her breakout moment. It was going to be the beginning of her championship era, and you couldn't tell her anything. However, Dakota got hit with a plot twist nobody on her team saw coming. The entire match and her win is under review, because less than 72 hours after she walked out of the cage with her hand raised, the Athletic Commission quietly flagged her post-fight sample. And from what's already leaking out, this isn't a simple supplement mix-up. Dakota might be on the verge of being blacklisted from the league and losing everything she has worked for. But what exactly did they find during the tests? Why did no one on Dakota's team prepare for this? Or is there something more sinister at play here?
This fighter is a knockout machine, and she literally got it from her mama. At 9-0, Dakota Ditcheva actually said she got bored in her last fight. That was before she did this.
Now, before we get into all that, let's talk about what sparked all this in the first place. According to reports, initial test results from her post-fight urine sample triggered a positive for GW501516, a banned performance enhancer better known in fight circles as Endurobol. Now, if that name rings a bell, it should, because this same compound has gotten multiple UFC prospects suspended over the last 5 years. In fact, the USADA classifies it as a metabolic modulator with known cancer risks. Yeah, that one. And here's the worst part. This isn't just some gray area drug. It's not something where, oh, it was in my protein shake, gets you a pass. GW501516 is blacklisted across all major sporting bodies. WADA doesn't play with it. Bellator doesn't play with it. Even One Championship, who barely tests anyone, flags it hard. And now, that substance is allegedly in Dakota's system. Now here's where things start to get strange. A few weeks before that fight, there were already whispers. Some diehard fans had started pointing out how much leaner Dakota looked. They felt she looked more vascular, with sharper movements. She'd also been posting cryptic gym selfies coded way more intense than her regular posts. No captions, just sweat-drenched stares and late-night sparring clips. People thought she was just locked in, going hard for the next fight. But now that these reports are coming out, those posts are hitting differently. It's especially worse because insiders say this wasn't even a random test. It was targeted. Commission officials requested samples from only 2 fighters on that card, and Dakota was one of them. So now everyone's asking, did they already suspect something? Was this a case of someone tipping them off? But that's not even the craziest part. It's been radio silence from Dakota's team so far. You would think someone in her camp would have put out a statement, but no. They haven't dropped so much as an Instagram apology or cryptic, "this isn't over" tweet. And that silence? Well, it doesn't make things look better for Dakota, especially considering how active she is on social media. People close to her are scrambling to control the damage. One trainer reportedly told an MMA blog off the record, "There's no way she took anything knowingly. This is probably contamination." But see, this line might have worked a week ago when the rumors were raging, and now it's just not convincing anyone anymore, because this was the same thing James Krause said, and we all know how that ended. So if Dakota doesn't tackle this head on, it might spiral out of her hands fast. Now, just to be clear, GW501516 isn't some mystery vitamin. It is notorious for a reason. And here's why. It basically reprograms your metabolism to burn fat like crazy. Suddenly, your endurance is through the roof and your recovery time is slashed in half. It's literally nicknamed exercise in a pill, and that's why it's banned. It gives such a visible advantage that commissions treat it the same as anabolic steroids. But here's the kicker. It stays in your system. It's not something that disappears in 24 hours. So if it showed up in her sample just hours after the fight, then it was in her body during the fight. And that raises one brutal question. Was that win even legit? As soon as the test result leaked, Reddit MMA threads lit up. TikTok fight fans were all over it. And Twitter, they're dragging her. One person said, like no one is questioning her ability, she's an amazing athlete who broke the rules. Whether the drug is legal in their country or not, the rules clearly say no to that drug, so don't do it. Athletes have gotten banned for painkillers and cold and flu meds. Another person supported this, saying, agreed. She's taking a performance-enhancing drug, which is cheating. She should be banned from the sport. Problem solved. In the middle of all that, one clip from the fight went viral again. A brutal spinning back elbow that rocked her opponent and ended the round. And now people are watching it back frame by frame, calling it unnatural and too clean. Like the precision suddenly feels suspicious.
The damage so far in this fight, it's been one-way traffic.
Oh, nasty knee to the middle from Dakota. And a flurry down to the body. Here's the elbow. Back elbow. And now a left hand. And she's showing off now.
And as y'all know, once the fans decide you cheated, it's almost impossible to win them back. But here's what most casuals don't know. This isn't the first time Dakota's name has been floated in a testing conversation. Back in 2023, she skipped a voluntary pre-fight test for a Dubai exhibition bout. At the time, people brushed it off since it was a non-sanctioned fight with no real commission. But in hindsight, it looks way more suspicious than people gave it credit for. As if Dakota wasn't already in enough trouble, she now has to deal with the prospect of her brand identity going down the drain. Before all this, things seemed to be looking up for her. She just landed a mid-tier deal with a UK sportswear brand, nothing Nike level, but still a strong look. But now that she's trending, they've archived every post featuring her. Although they didn't release any statement cutting ties with her, the message is clear. But that's not all. As y'all know, Dakota recently signed a new multi-year deal with the PFL. In a recent interview, Dakota revealed how excited she was about the deal and her future prospects. According to her, she was happy they finally realized her worth, and she's now guaranteed to have a number of fights till 2027.
And so could I ask you, because you did break some news also in the post-fight interview, you announced that you had re-signed with the PFL. Congratulations. Are you happy with how everything turned out?
Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, I am happy now in the end. It took a while. I mean, I fought last November, so it took a while for us to come to, something that was right for the both of us. But I'm happy now. I just secured my future for me and my family. So over the next few years, I'll be there till 2027. So, I mean, how can I not be happy with that? I'm looking forward to hopefully building the division now. And like I said, challenges, an agreement in there where they have to give me a certain amount of fights in a certain amount of time. But I am contracted till 2027, yeah.
And is that January 1st, 27 or December 31st, 27?
Depends when I have my fights, but probably end of 2027.
I just need to know when we need to rev up the where is she going to sign talk. We can probably table it now for a couple of years, right?
So now that she's going to be having suspended fights, it's not clear what's going to happen to her deals. But here's the thing. All fighters know that it's not the loss that hurts. It's the silence from the brands. But wait, it gets even more interesting because fans are now wondering where all of this goes now. The commission has reportedly requested a B sample test, which could take another 10 to 14 days. If that sample also comes back positive, Dakota faces a 2-year minimum ban. If she tries to contest it and fails, it could stretch to 4 years. At that point, she's not a rising star anymore. She's just another what could have been story. What's wild is that her fan base isn't totally abandoning her yet. There's still a chunk of fans clinging to the tainted supplement theory. They're pulling up old cases like Yoel Romero and Sean O'Malley, guys who got flagged but cleared. But that faith is getting harder to maintain because the more time passes without her speaking, the more people assume guilt. And just to be clear, silence can sometimes be smart. Dakota's team could be advising her to wait until the B sample clears to avoid feeding the fire. But in the world of MMA, silence looks like guilt. And the longer she stays quiet, the less control she has over her own narrative. Right now, every hour that goes by without a statement, her brand bleeds a little more. And here's something that just leaked this morning. Her next tournament slot might already be getting reassigned. Word is PFL officials have reached out to at least 2 alternate fighters to prepare just in case. One of them is already going around acting like this is a done deal. And that kind of confidence tells you that there might be something brewing behind the scenes. But the most devastating part of all this, especially for Dakota, is that the PFL is not making any move to shield her. They're trying to clean up their image, especially after getting dragged for lax testing protocols last year.
There's an agreement in there where they have to give me a certain amount of fights in a certain amount of time. But I am contracted till 2027, yeah.
And is that January 1st, 27 or December 31st, 27?
Depends when I have my fights, but probably end of 2027.
I just need to know when we need to rev up the where is she going to sign talk. We can probably table it now for a couple of years, right?
So, if they have to throw Dakota under the bus to make a point, they will. This is bigger than one fighter now. It's about the organization's reputation. And guess what? Dakota's team has to know that. However, it might not be over yet. Because if the B sample clears her, we're looking at the comeback of the year. It will be a redemption arc nobody expected. But if it confirms the first result, this might be career ending. Because let's be real, once people think you cheated, no highlight reel can undo that. And right now, the clock is ticking.